Where are we going this time? So we are going to a settlement that is to the west of the capital city. I was given instructions to go there. I have canisters of medicine, I believe, that I have to carry there. However, they are deteriorated pretty bad, so it's going to be pretty rough when I get there. Okay, some genius at work on Wednesday decided that putting on the impeachment hearings was therapeutically appropriate. Yikes. I'm not into that. So, Putt Dog, all the cases of my body. I am like a postal worker, basically. I carry parcels. It's an incredibly important job in this post-apocalyptic world. So all of these containers are, right now I'm carrying like medical supplies. And I have to carry it to a settlement that's to the west. I'm trying to rebuild the internet and connect all these cities so that we have a chance to basically like build America again. I have a sneaking suspicion that right now I'm working for the bad people. Just think about it as getting some super exercise. Yeah, no kidding. I have a hard time doing stuff for myself, but for other people, hells yeah. I'm starting a new job today, 3 hours per day in an office in a retirement home. Have to be there in an hour. Sleeping in is not fun. Oh man. Well, Bonnie, what are you doing for them specifically? Are you like doing secretary work or like admin stuff? Well, there's lots of those, Titan. Lots of them. Finally, someone was like, can we turn that off? Yeah, that seems like, it really seems like an odd thing to run. You're saying Twitter's down? Do not reconnect. Yeah, right, Nix? Y'all know I hate Twitter. Oh, I know, Zach. It's all good. The Hawks are on a run lately. It's actually been really nice to watch them. The Knights, not so much. Knights are in a skid. But the Hawks are doing all right. So I'm enjoying watching them. Have you ever played Fallout 4? I played the intro of it. I thought it was okay, but I never went past that. I played Fallout 76 for quite a while, though. Thidian, do you know what the design of your half sleeve is going to be, or are you going to like go to the artist and work with them on that? Facebook is far worse than Twitter. I'd choose Twitter over Facebook any day. I despise both. But yes, I would agree that Facebook is worse. But I don't like any of them. Whoa. Oh boy. Okay, so there are these things called BTs that are like ghosts. This little doohickey thing that's connected to my backpack can kind of sort of detect them. It aims itself in the direction of the BTs. I have to be careful not to get killed by them. God forbid I let someone listen to music. Wait, what, Victoria? Always fun to give your artist some creative freedom. Yeah, I agree. I kind of made the mistake when I did my sleeve of having it mostly designed, and I could tell that my artist would have liked to have had more input than he did. At the same time, it's my sleeve. I mostly use Facebook for games that attach to it, and I watch the different videos on it, but otherwise I don't do anything. Yeah, people have their different uses for it. I certainly don't give people a hard time for using Facebook, but... Oh, God. I need to get through this BT territory and get the hell out of here. This baby doesn't like it. Rick and Morty did a Death Stranding video? Like as a advertisement? Yeah, BTs are creepy. My mom uses Facebook for recipes. Yeah, my parents still use it. Facebook has been kind of ruined for me because Trump supporter relatives that post all the time. Yeah, I mean, how political Facebook got really annoying. I also started to get to a point where I saw people were posting so many pictures of their kids. And like, I don't care about, I mean, okay, this sounds terrible, but like, I don't give a shit about your kids. I'm not on Facebook to be friends with your kids. I'm on Facebook to be friends with you. Now I understand. Oh God. I understand that your kids are important and that they're an important piece of your life and that you want people to know about them. But I'm just not. I'm not into it. Oh God. All right, let's keep moving here. Keep moving here, Norman. Last time I used social media was MySpace. Oh man, good old MySpace. Every social media site I ever had was created for me. All right, come on, don't be too deep. Don't be too deep. Don't be too deep. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. I had this app that monitored what apps I used on my phone once, and apparently I used Pinterest and Kindle the most. Mine would be Reddit. I'm on Apollo all the time, which I'm okay with. 'Cause I love me some Reddit. Oh, shit. I went way too far. I did not need to cross that river. So we're going to go back this way. I want to stay away from the BTs. I use Facebook for group messenger. Yeah, I do miss that, but I don't miss how I had to use Facebook in order to be attached to it. It's a program for people with mental health issues. I'll probably do a little bit of everything like an intern. End of the year as well, so probably lots of loose ends to tie up. Certainly not my dream job, but I'm a trained secretary, so nothing else I can do with that program. Well, I'm glad that you've got something going for you, Bonnie. I mean, are you excited to have it something to do, or is this something where you more had to do it because you needed to do it? Did you ever have to lecture while getting your master's degree? Yes, I did. So Titan, I actually had a class that I TA'd for in my master's program that was called Introduction to Psychological Services. And the professor for the class got pneumonia, so she was out for like 6 weeks. So I actually had to do a lot of the lectures for that class. The good news was that I had TA'd the class before, so I was familiar with the material, which was ideal. So that was, I lectured in that. I also ran a breakout group for a class called Marriage 101, which was fun. And my PhD, I taught multiple classes, both undergrad and graduate level. And they were great. I was a teaching assistant as well at both levels. What do you think about Apple removing all vaping apps, even those that are for legitimate medical marijuana vapes? Oh, honestly, D, I don't know that I'm really qualified to talk about that kind of thing, but in my opinion, I think it's probably for the best. It's hard. It's hard because there are obviously legitimate uses for that. I'm not here to tell people that they shouldn't vape or whatever because I don't know enough about it. I think Apple has the right to choose what they do, and so if they want to choose to block that, that's certainly their prerogative. I don't really see how it would necessarily be harmful for them to do that. Good evening to you, Jan. Never used Facebook for anything? It's not a bad place to be in. How mindful of you are things you consume on Reddit? There's so much good, but also so much noise. Very mindful, Nix. I try to be as mindful of my Reddit usage as possible. Like, I try to recognize when things are nonsense. I try to take things at face value. I try to look at the arc of certain subreddits that I follow so that I have some understanding of where they're currently at, like what the meta is of the subreddit, if that makes sense. So I really try to stay on top of that as best as possible. I also have my Reddit that's for like the good stuff, and then I have my garbage Reddit, which is just all like trash memes and stupid shit. I try to keep those separate so that I can take the crappy Reddit in smaller doses instead of melding it all together. Uh-oh, this doesn't sound good. Procrastination and being a creature of habit plus anxiety really prevent you from doing a lot of stuff, especially seeking employment. Yes, that is true, Maurizio. Breaking through that can be really difficult. I did not, Titan. Was it a requirement for you to teach lectures? Yeah. I mean, when you're going to get your PhD, there's an implication that you will teach at some point. So that's kind of a chance for you to learn how to teach and to get some help in terms of like figuring out, okay, what's it like to actually stand in front of graduate students? What's it like to be in front of undergraduate students? What's the difference? Oh boy. This is bad.
Sam, don't get too close to mule territory unless you have to. Focus on your deliveries for now.
All right. I guess I'm gonna go this way then. Oh shit. All right, running away. What's up, Lollipop? Memes, is that what they're calling it this day? It is, Kaladnar. At this point, he can't be trusted. I'm pretty much putting him on par. Hey, do what you got to do. You know how I feel about him. I've talked about him enough. No, I thought I'd be glad to finally start working again, but since it's an office gig and a retirement home, I'm like, meh. But at least it gets me out of the house and brings some extra money. Appreciate your ability to see some of the silver linings in that, Bonnie, but I could also see why that might be frustrating in some ways. I hope it goes well. I mean, regardless, I hope that it's something that you're able to get some fulfillment out of, Bonnie, and that it, you know, serves the purpose that you need it to. See, isn't this perfect? So like all I'm doing is just walking, making some deliveries, and we get to hang out and chat, and it works really well. This may be one of the most ideal streaming games for what I like to do that there is. I just get too bored if I don't have like a work schedule or something consistent on. I'm the same way, Thidian. I don't like too much structure, but I do like having a loose outline of what to expect in my life. Yeah, see, honestly, D, I didn't even realize that there were vape apps. Like, I didn't even realize that that was a thing. It's really interesting to me. So, like, the idea that Apple then banned them. I mean, Apple's come down on a lot of things. Like, you can't have porn apps. Like, they're pretty strict about the way that they run their app store, and I can't say I'd fault them for that. Oh God. Oh God. Are those guys gonna shoot me? Oh my God. Yo, we gotta bail. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus. I'm just a postal worker. I'm just a postal worker. I'm just trying to deliver packages. Oh my God. Oh God. Me getting back to working is gonna be rough. Had a job since I was 16. My surgery in May made me have to stop. This is the first time I've been working since then, so getting back on the ball is rough. It's good though. Since I was getting slight depression from not leaving the house. Yes, being active gamer, it makes such a huge difference. So though it's an adjustment, you know, I always tell people when you're going to go through a transition like that, it's really important to be patient and recognize that it's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be a little while before you recalibrate and get back on target. So I'm glad you get a chance to go back to work. I'm about to begin the process of taking classes to start getting back into school after dropping out and changing schools without getting into a new one. I'm hella scared and nervous. I begin the process tomorrow. Well, we'll be here to support you through the process, Kaladnar. Oh, God. Guys, just can you leave me alone? What did I do to you? I'm booking it. Getting out of here. Don't hurt me. I feel like I need to cross the river, but oh no! What is going on? That's why I'm hoping to get the position with the computer center I interned at. That would be with the same group I interned with. Having familiarity as I transition to independence would help tremendously. Oh, absolutely, D. Absolutely. Does that mean there's BTs around? I can't preach this enough since I've had 2 ankle surgeries now, but thankful for walking or even being able to stand. Yeah, no kidding, gamer. Mattel, good to see you. What is this game about? So this is a post-apocalyptic America. I am a courier of sorts, and we are one of the most important roles in this post-apocalyptic world. I'm currently trying to rebuild the network, basically the internet, to connect to all the different towns and settlements. There's this thing called Death Stranding. There's a lot about it, but it's basically like we're trying to make America be connected again after a really nasty spike in, it's called Stranding. When people die to these ghost-like things, they blow craters into the world. It's really bad. I have some kind of disease that I don't know if I'm immune to it or what. It's quite confusing, but it's mostly a walking simulator. It gives me an excuse to talk to everybody. I want to become a therapist. I struggle with depression, ADD. I hated going through that alone, so I want to help others who struggle with the same things. That's awesome, Cladnar. There's plenty of therapists who have gotten into it for those reasons and are very successful at it. So I wish you the best in it. And if there's any ways I can support you in that endeavor, please let me know. I'm happy to answer questions about grad school programs, stuff like that, because it's daunting, dude. By the way, I just want to say again, one more time, I really appreciate all of you who stuck through the raid, who are hanging out, chatting, spending time with me. It means a lot to me. I know you don't, most people bail on raids, and a lot of you didn't, and I really, I see that, and I don't take it for granted. So, good to have you all here tonight. Oh yeah, Kaladner, are you kidding me? I'm all about supporting people finding therapists, but I'm all about supporting people becoming therapists too, if that's something you want to do. So I'm happy to answer anything you want to know, Kaladner. Whether it's what programs to look at, how to prepare, any of that stuff. I'm nervous about meeting up with this person this week. It's going to be the first new purely social relationship that I've had in a long time. It wasn't like a friend of a friend kind of thing. I'm really hoping we get along. I hope you do too, Staircase. I hope they're able to see you and validate you, and that you can feel seen in the way that you want to feel seen, and that something grows out of it. That'd be fabulous. I give you a lot of credit for even going out and making it happen. Well, Zine's an awesome dude. And, I appreciate that you're here, gamer. I really do. I would totally understand if you were watching Zine instead of me sometimes. Because, we do different things. We're similar, but different. But I'm glad to know Zine. I'm so glad that he brought so many of you here. Whether you found me randomly, whether you're here with Sage, I appreciate all of you. Training for a job in 3 years is standard in Germany. We have a slightly different system than the USA. We get a certificate and everything. Something tells me that Germany's system is probably better. I don't know why I'm walking on this steep-ass incline right now. Love talking with y'all. It's a lot of fun. Right? The greatest community ever. I seriously marvel at how amazing everybody here is. The fact that after a whole year... What? That after a whole year of doing this, that this community continues to be so warm and accepting and inviting is really, it's so cool. Unlike these BTs that I have to walk through. These are not cool. These are the opposite of how cool this place is. Oh my god. I'm afraid you'll have to scroll up. I can't reset my text on mobile. Okay, Bonnie, let's see. I trained as a secretary. Wait, what did I miss? Did I miss something? Bonnie? I saw you said you aren't excited. I trained to be a secretary 3 years ago. Something stable to fall back on. I never plan to get stuck, but at least I do have lots of experience. Now an office gig is easy. I'm grateful for that. Okay. Well, I'm glad too, Bonnie. And maybe, who knows? I hate to be the guy who says, at least, but... maybe it'll open a few doors for you. You'll be able to do that for a while, get some work experience, get into that flow, and then maybe something else will open up for you. If that's what you're wanting. I'm not going to pretend to know what you want. But It's somewhat lessened by the fact that she approached me about meeting up. I'd considered asking her sometime, but didn't want to give off any kind of weird internet dude vibes. I can understand that.
Brother, you're showing them how it's done out here.
No way.
Hey, you're gonna love this.
Holy hell. Hi. Welcome in the insane amount of people that are coming in here right now.
Hey,
And some of you whom I recognize. Oh my God, my heart just jumped through my throat. Welcome, Raiders.
you're gonna love
Hello, Zine. Really? This is a front page raid? Oh my freaking God. Zine, thank you. Hi, I'm DrMick. I am a licensed couple and family therapist in the state of Illinois. I have a PhD in human development, and I host game sessions with a therapist, which is where I play video games. I talk about mental health, therapy, psychology, and chat with an incredible community. I'm here because I want to make mental health information and resources more accessible. I want people to feel more comfortable talking about therapy. I want people to see that a therapist can look like this, and that we're actually approachable, and that there are great therapists out there. I do all sorts of things. I play games and talk with the community. I do mental health topic lectures and days where I talk about certain topics that the community wants me to talk about. I do a Find a Therapist segment where I help members of the community find a therapist in their area, and I go through. We look at the therapists in their area. We see who's right. I critique the profiles. I have a YouTube where I have all of my lectures. I also do daily mental health tidbits.
You're gonna love this.
I appreciate all the follows that are coming through. I'm not even gonna be able to keep up with them. Holy crap. It's so nice to meet all of you. I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays during the day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at 11:30 p.m. Central Time. I am a huge fan of Zine's. He's an incredible person, and I appreciate that he brought all of you with me. Dude, you were on the front page? Like, my God.
You're gonna love this.
So, Omega, good to see you. Rain, hello.
You're gonna love
Assassin Man, what are you playing? I'm playing Death Stranding. It's an incredible game.
Hey, you're gonna love this.
Zine's goal was to blow your socks off. I guess he succeeded. Are you kidding me? My heart is racing right now, Cyborg. All of you who are following me, thank you so much. I appreciate you spending your time with me and hanging out, especially that you hung in there through the raid, because I know a lot of people like to bail on raids.
You're gonna love this.
I get a set of 9 front page slots for the next couple of weeks. Well, congratulations, Zine. That's huge, dude. But those of you who are sticking around and hanging out, I promise you that you will love the people here. This is the most amazing corner of the internet. I cannot sell this community enough. Seriously. Amazing people are here. And Zine, thank you again, dude. I'm so grateful for you sending people my way. I don't take that for granted. Thidian, dude. Thank you for gifting the subs, Thidian. You are number 4 in Death Stranding category right now. That is super cool. What I like to do, I'm chat focused, so feel free to ping me if you want to ask me anything or talk about whatever. I know some streamers don't like being pinged. I like being pinged, because it allows me to make sure that I actually attend to you. Feel free to ask me anything. I'm not afraid of duplicate questions, stuff like that. But I'm grateful all of you are here. Right now I'm avoiding these BTs that are trying to kick my ass. It's really scary. How long are you going to be streaming for? Assassin, I will be on for probably at least another hour to an hour and a half. Especially with so many new people in here, I want to get a chance to get to know and say hello to. So I hope you all hang out and stay a while. I do have a Discord that is attached with the community. It's active. It's over 500 members strong. It's very supportive. All the wonderful people that are in here will be there with you while I'm offline. It's great. Coconut Man is popping up like crazy. Oh my God. I'm a big fan of Silver Linings too. Here comes the raid. Perfect timing. I have to get dressed. How are we doing in the game? Is it any more not confusing? It's still somewhat confusing, Omega. I haven't had any exposition move forward tonight. I'm still on my route to the Western settlement.
Hey, you're gonna love this.
But, oh, like I was saying, I focus on chat. So while I play, I'm constantly reading chat. So don't be afraid to talk to me. I'm going to always focus on chat more than I'm going to focus on the gameplay. Usually I play a lot of Destiny 2, but I got hooked on Death Stranding, so we've been playing that lately. Dude, Zine, this is nothing compared to what it has been before. Like, there is so much stuff that I have to carry through. It's insane. Hi, I want to get to know you too. I'm glad to hear that. I'm honored. It's an honor to know so many of you and to meet all of you.
You're gonna love.
I have so much fun streaming. I love doing this. So the fact that all of you are spending some time with me is fabulous. Lunatic, is this recommended therapy for your patients? Run around and kill people in times to get rid of stress? Not necessarily lunatic, although I am a fan of the role that video games can have in people's lives and people navigating their mental health. Video games got me through depression when I was a freshman in college, and I've seen video games really be a source of strength for a lot of people. So I am a heavy proponent of video games. I specialize in working with video gamers and esports athletes. As a therapist, I work with severe and debilitating anxiety, OCD, performance anxiety, social anxiety, performance, all sorts of stuff. Couples. I am a couple and family therapist, so I do work with couples and whole families, as well as individuals. And I am currently a practicing therapist in the city of Chicago. So you don't wear a creepy suit while being a couples therapist. No, bloody. I wear this. I literally wear this while I do therapy. I always have a hat on. I wear casual clothing. My whole idea about therapy is that it should be approachable, that it should be something that makes you feel comfortable, that it shouldn't be something where you're sitting in front of somebody who acts in a way that's not natural. So my business cards are me wearing this, if you can believe that. And my goal is to really help people see that therapists can be approachable, that we aren't all buttoned up and wearing suits. And we don't all have beards and smoke pipes and whatever. That, like, we can be real. And I'm a huge fan of authenticity, helping people discover their own authenticity, but also, and I believe I have to show up authentically if I'm going to help people do that. So that's a big part of my shtick. As much as I want to stay for the raid, I have to be at work at 7 a.m. to instruct our grave staff, so I'm heading out. Good night, Kaladnar. Appreciate you being here tonight, man. And like I said, let me know if you need help with the process of becoming a therapist. Joe Sharko, thank you for the sub. I appreciate that. I want to ask what your thought is on the concept of maturity. Rain, you're going to have to be more specific for me on that. I'm not entirely sure what you mean. What are your thoughts on medical marijuana? I know recreational just got passed in Illinois. On medical marijuana, as far as I'm concerned, if it's prescribed by a doctor in a state where it's legal, I'm down. I've seen it do wonders for a lot of people. I will not ever condone illegal usage of marijuana, but I have seen that there are benefits to it. I'm also not super familiar on the research about it, but like I said, I've seen it do wonders for some people. I've also seen it be very detrimental for others. And I know that it's a very neutral, non-committal answer, but that's truly the case in my experience. You seem like a really awesome guy. Well, Rika, I appreciate you saying that. You seem like a really awesome person too. Makes me feel like I can relax around you. Absolutely. That's my goal, right? Like, I should be a real person. Marijuana is recreational in Arkansas as well. It's going to be, it'll be federal at some point. It's headed that way. What I meant way earlier, I think it's hypocritical how the nurses turn on the impeachment hearings. They get mad at me when I let one patient listen to music, and she's upset when they won't let her. Oh, I see. Okay. That makes sense, Victoria. Thank you for the follows, Leapy. And anybody else who followed where I didn't get to read your name. Thank you. Any tips for anxiety? Sure. I got a lot of them. So this is not therapeutic advice. It's certainly not professional advice. Because I can't do that on stream. But in general, the general most important piece of advice that I ever give anybody about anxiety, or erus, I hope I'm saying that right, is that acknowledgement of anxiety is super important. Polarizing against our anxious experience is not great. We cannot change how we feel. All right, like the way you feel is valid. It's worthy of attention. It is what it is. Anxiety is a risk mitigating emotion, so we experience anxiety to protect ourselves from the unknown. It was very evolutionarily eloquent and sophisticated, and we needed it. Now, because we have a really evolved prefrontal cortex, we get anxious about things that maybe we don't need to be anxious about, but that's just our body trying to take care of us. So what I always recommend to people is to acknowledge your anxious experience and recognize that though you don't have control over your emotional experience, you certainly have agency over the meaning you make out of it and your behaviors as a result of it. And where anxiety gets worse for people is actually nested in the meaning we make of it and then the decisions we make behaviorally. Like if you engage in excessive reassurance seeking, if you engage in avoidance seeking behaviors, those actually make anxiety worse over time because it doesn't acknowledge it, but it's still there. All right. So being present with our anxiety and then engaging in more helpful, patient, compassionate self-talk, and then engaging in behaviors that are healthier, alternative behaviors to what we might be engaging in now, super important. That's my elevator pitch of how people work through anxiety successfully. I appreciate that question a lot. Oh, that's cool, Carrie. I like that. I'm highly allergic to marijuana. I have massive social anxiety problems, and the only way I get through is playing games, mainly Minecraft and other people my age, but everyone around my age play Minecraft, are live streamers or YouTubers. You know, gaming and streaming can really build a wonderful sense of community for people, and I see gaming as scaffolding the process of moving from debilitating social anxiety to where people can be more socially adept. Social anxiety is one of the hardest types of anxiety to work through because there's so much pressure and there's so much that's out of our control in a social engagement. Whereas certain other pieces of anxiety, like we mostly have the agency over. Social anxiety is brutal. I like your views on stuff. Doctors always told me I had mental health issues and told me I was making issues up for my attention when I actually had blood pressure disorder. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Half Canine. I do my best. Man, my Apple account got disabled like a month ago. I'm supposed to call Apple to fix it, but I've been too anxious to make the call. So now I have like 50 apps waiting to be updated. Ooh, that's rough, Buggy. But, you know, I hope that you're able to find some patience for yourself for not being able to make that call. It's really hard. Gadad Lad. Holy crap. So good to see you. Thank you for the sub. So happy your channel's getting stronger and bigger. A lot of people need a place like this, and the fact that you can provide it and some need it makes me smile. Well, the fact that you support it makes me smile, Kadad Lad, so I appreciate seeing you. It's good to see you, and I'd love to know how you've been. Everyone has a bit of a different idea about what maturity is, and some versions of the concept really leave out people who are incapable of doing certain things, like learning to drive. It's kind of bizarre. Like, everyone kind of has to define it for themselves. Kind of makes me wonder if maturity is even a real thing or just a construct. It's a little bit of both, Rain. Like, you could see it as a developmental construct, but maturity is essentially just a qualified level of development. By the way, again, for those who didn't hear me earlier, I do have a PhD in human development, so I talk about development a lot too. So maturity is relative, I think, whereas development is something that can be measured. Maturity is just the qualifier that we put on it when we say, like, oh, like this person's mature because their developmental experiences have culminated to a particular way in which they are navigating the space that they're in, if that makes sense. So it is somewhat bizarre. But it's also just a way, again, that we place a qualifier on a level of development. Any tips on dealing with ADHD? I recommend working with a therapist on that, Jev. It depends on the way it manifests for a person. Some people have ADHD that manifests in such a way that they have this very like linear thinking. Other people, it manifests itself where like you're attending to a lot of things at once. It really depends on context for that. Sometimes medication can be super useful. Sometimes people can navigate it without. But working closely with a therapist who specializes in ADHD is a recommendation that I would give. I know that's kind of a non-answer, but there's not really a general blanket response I could give you for ADHD. I'm working on my anxiety by streaming. I'm not the best at engaging while I game, but I can present my thesis now. Hey, that's important, Shy Red. I give you a lot of credit for giving it a shot. It's not easy. Have you heard of neurofeedback? If so, what's your opinion on it? I find it almost made things worse before I stopped the whole process. So, Atomic, I'm I'm assuming you're referring to like biofeedback. Because I'm familiar with biofeedback. Neurofeedback is not something that rings a bell for me, but I'm assuming that that's synonymous with biofeedback. I am familiar with it. My wife, who is also a therapist, actually does a lot of biofeedback. I think it's pretty cool for the right person or the right people, but it's not always the best. Like, there's different ways to work with, to work in that space. Sometimes biofeedback is really cool because people can see their mindfulness actually manifest, and some biofeedback is actually gamified, which is really cool. So I think it depends on the person. I'm very happy to have found this community through the raid. I will definitely be coming to hang out more often from now on. Thanks for being awesome and a supportive individual. Lindra, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you saying that. It means a lot to me. For Warped, thank you very much for the sub at tier 2. Thank you. Star, thank you for the follow. Speaking of ADHD, have you seen the FDA is considering a move toward abuse deterrent formulations for stimulant medications? I have not, Staircase. I also don't stay too much on top of medication research until it comes out, because since I'm not a psychiatrist, I don't do medication management. What's your take on suicidal tendencies with a psycho kind of mind? I don't really have one, Blood Sky. I don't work with deep psychosis. It's not within my wheelhouse. I make referrals for that. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have commentary for that. I try not to force commentary on things that I don't know. During couples therapy, do you ever determine you need to make a referral for a sex therapist? Yes, I have done that a few times, Pet Dog. I can work with sex. I do some levels of sex therapy, but if there's something that is very targeted and necessary in the form of sex therapy, I will make that referral. Gamer, it's really tough. If you ever need help, let me know. Any advice on not getting angry over hearing someone chew food? Ooh, man. Okay. So a lot of people don't know this, Huichi. There's a thing, it's called misophonia. It is an actual thing that people have where chewing actually causes a physiological response in the brain. A lot of people think that misophonia works just like a normal phobia, and that you would work through it in the same way that you would work through a phobia by basically doing a exposure hierarchy. Not so. Misophonia is actually has its own way of being worked through, where you actually have to rewire your brain's response to an audio stimulus. Usually what has to happen is that you have to find an audio stimulus that the brain finds pleasurable. And then what you do is you immerse yourself in that, and then you slowly introduce the chewing noises at various levels that are basically built through an exposure hierarchy. And then what you do is you try to get the brain to start to associate the misophonic audio, like noises, with the pleasurable stimulus, so that your brain essentially rewires its response to that noise. And then you can do an exposure hierarchy. But a lot of therapists and a lot of people don't realize that that's the case and actually skip that step. And so then when you do an exposure for misophonia, it actually makes it worse because you have not done the biological necessary biological stuff for it. So fun fact about that. So advice on that is go to a therapist who knows that. And misophonia is a thing. And if you ever need to look up resources, there's actually a Misophonia Institute that I believe is in Philadelphia. I wouldn't consider it great, but I no longer hate myself. I'm getting life on track. Hey, good on you, Cadad Lad. Cheers to that, man. Good to meet you, Vonage. You're doing a great job helping me. I really do appreciate it. Happy to do it, Blood Sky. It's what I'm here for. And I agree, Staircase. Can misophonia be triggered by certain people? I suppose maybe, Shy Red, but it's more about the actual like audio stimulus. A lot of, from what I understand, a lot of people with misophonia don't differentiate the people who are making the noise. I suppose you could have some associations with a person who generally drives you crazy, and then if you have the misophonic response on top of that, it would be really bad. Like it would compound it, but I don't know the actual answer to that. That's just my hypothesis about it based on what I've seen. I've worked with a couple people through misophonia. Some successfully and some where it was really difficult, but not a ton, but I do have the experience. Trina, good evening to you. It's so good to see you. How are you doing? You're very welcome, Huichi. I love all the questions you guys are asking. So this is why I do this, to answer questions. Better than yesterday. I'm glad to hear that, Trina. I can imagine it's a series of ups and downs right now.
Hey, you're gonna love this.
Craze, thank you for that follow. Jet, it's so good to see you. I've got to head out. I think I'm getting a migraine. Ooh, yeah. Do what you got to do to take care of yourself, Jet. I really appreciate you being here tonight. I've seen over 30 mental health professionals in my life, and none have helped me, and I think I harmed them. Well, I'm sorry to hear that they have not helped you, Lunatic. That's a bummer, obviously. Whether you've harmed them, it's hard to say. Most of us have pretty thick skin. But I'm sorry that you've had that experience. What's it called when someone listens to a song or some music and they get the urge to kill somebody? I don't know if there's an actual term for that, Blood Sky. If there is, I'm not familiar with it. What causes nervous tics? Oh, it could be all sorts of things, Snugs. It could be a conditioned response to anxiety or input from the environment. It could be a biological factor. It would depend on the person. In order for me to be able to really answer that, I'd have to do an assessment. You know of the Conan cameo here? I've heard about it, Neo, but I don't know where it is. Yeah, no kidding, Staircase, right? I hate feeling like I'm constantly fighting myself. Most people do, Sam B. You are not alone. Why did you choose to go into therapy? So, Bob, I went into therapy because well, for one, I just love people and relationships. When I was in middle school and high school, I'll swap, since we're getting to know each other, I'll swap to this real quick. So when I was in middle school and high school, I was the dude that everybody talked to on AOL Instant Messenger about their relationships, about themselves. I'd be up until like 2 or 3 in the morning talking to people who, if I passed in the hallway at school, would not even, like, we wouldn't talk. It was pretty fascinating. I figure I must have been pretty good at it because a lot of people talked to me. When I went to college, I had a professor in a sociology class that was a retired marriage and family therapist who told me about it. And I was like, hey, that's actually really interesting to me. I didn't know that was a thing. I want to do that. And I never really looked back. Now, the way that I answer that question of why do I continue to do therapy is because I really love that my job allows me to see perspectives and experiences and ideas that I would never otherwise get to see. So just I get to expand the way that I understand the world through the work that I do with my clients, plus being instrumental in people moving through the always difficult process of change is an honor. So I love what I do. You ever recommend meditation to help patients recognize their feeling in different scenarios? Yes, XE, I do. Any advice for long distance relationships? Recognize that they are an absolute bitch pirate, that they take a lot of direct communication, and that they are possible. My wife and I did a long distance relationship for 2 of the 5 years that we were together. And if you can get through that, you can get through most anything. I'm trying to accept the fact that I need to let him be angry and cope how he wants to. That's a really tough part of the process, Trina. And seriously, for whatever it's worth, I give you an immense amount of credit for that. I really do. I found that most people in the business got into it to figure out their own issues. That is so Lunatic, I don't want to fight with you, but like, that's a myth. That's people like to say that, but we all have issues, but most therapists go into it because they have some kind of sense of calling to wanting to assist people. But the idea that we go into it because we just want to fix ourselves, while true in some instances, is not generally true. And usually constitutes a myth more than anything else. I think we talked about this before, but I don't remember how it went. Have you seen What About Bob? It's about a therapist whose client barges in on his vacation. I have not, but I will have to look at that, Putt Dog, because that sounds really hilarious.
Just a little longer.
I have a feeling that I'm a schizophrenic psychopath. Is it possible with being abused and bullied throughout my life? I can't make that call without knowing you, Blood Sky. I would encourage you to see a therapist if you think that that's something that's going on for you. But I mean, that could certainly be contribute to it. But without knowing you, I can't make that call. Started taking medication and stuff, but after I started having days with zero motivation and zero energy. Before I was able to make myself do stuff that I need, but now I can't. How do I make myself do it again? Do you see a therapist, Dezen? Some of these questions, by the way, just so all of you know, there are certain questions that I won't be able to answer because I would have to give therapeutic advice or do an assessment in order to answer them. So unfortunately, when those types of questions happen, I have to tell you that because it's not ethical for me to give therapeutic advice. So, Deezen Cat, like in this instance, you know, how you make yourself do the stuff you need to do. I don't know you well enough to make that call. I will say that in general, one of the things that I encourage a lot, particularly with depression, is to recognize that truly at the end of the day, we're talking about behaviors, and that behaviors are like, they are more possible than we think. A lot of times people will talk about anxiety or depression as if it's something that is affecting them and is preventing them from being able to do things. The truth is, we're able to do things generally. It's just a matter of like kind of busting through that mental wall, which I know sounds invalidating how hard depression is. Believe me, I understand how difficult depression is to navigate. But it's kind of one of those things where like sometimes you just have to just do it. And breaking it down into small manageable chunks of, you know, for example, if a person finds it really hard to take a shower, swinging your right leg off the bed, swinging your left leg off the bed, taking a step, like small manageable goals, is sometimes a way to get things done that you need to get done. No worries, Zolan. I hope to see you again. I got you with the one command I actually know. Oh, thank you, Thidian. I appreciate that. I can keep myself from hurting people and doing stupid stuff. Do you think that's good? I've learned how to keep myself from hurting others and myself. I think if anytime you're keeping yourself from hurting people, that's, I would argue, is always a good thing. Do you ever have your IRL patients come into Twitch chat, or do you tell them not to mention it on Twitch? So, Snake Master, if they did, I will never confirm or deny that any of my clients are in chat. So even if a person says in chat that they are my client, I will not confirm or deny it.
Kid looks happy.
Some people I see know that I do this, others don't, but I can't really say much more than that. I'm super protective of people's confidentiality.
You should remember that BBs are just equipment.
I wonder if you can bill insurance doing therapy over Skype. You can, lunatics. Some insurance companies are coming around to that.
A process that renders them unpredictable.
I found that dedicating a day a week to at least 2 chores helps me. Good for you, Shy Panda. Do you think the reason anxiety has popped up so much because of the unhealthy lifestyles most people live? Lack of exercise, sugar intake, caffeine? Those things can contribute to it, Craze. I think there's a lot of reasons why anxiety has popped up so much. 1, we're able to talk about it. 2, social media is rough. People are holding themselves to unrealistic standards. That causes inherent anxiety. Anyway, but we all experience anxiety. Like, here's the thing. We like to talk about anxiety as if it's something that you either have or you don't. And we all experience anxiety. Anxiety is something that is just part of the human experience. Whether we experience it to a point where it becomes debilitating, I think has increased. But again, it's one of those things where it's like, is it because we are able to talk about it more because it's just more okay to talk about mental health now, or is it that people are actually experiencing it more? And I don't know that we have a full answer on that. Yes, Josh, what Josh said, there are some insurance companies that have their own services for e-therapy. Yes, that is true. Did you spend all 4 years there? I spent 3 years there, Gizmo, my sophomore through senior year. My freshman year, I was at Michigan State University, and then I transferred to Purdue. Boiler up. Good on you, Gizmo. What are you majoring in, Gizmo? Do you think it's a good idea for someone with bones that disintegrate 4 times faster than the human body can grow? I'm not entirely sure what you're asking there, bloody.
Fair lady. Sam?
I'm not to this point in my program yet, so I'm curious how much you as a therapist discuss with the new co-therapist treating the same patient. Only with a signed release of information, Lollipop.
Still not undergone.
I can't talk about
Still not
I can't
chained
talk
up.
about clients with anybody
Still
unless I have a release of information.
But if you can keep making connections.
The handcuff is some kind of metaphor for unity in some way, Neo, but it's like unity through
Back home.
shackles. I don't know. I haven't quite been able to figure it out.
Thank you. I mean that.
Have you ever actually seen people who have severe social anxiety get really beyond it and build normal relationships? Yes, I have. I have seen people successfully work through debilitating social anxiety work, and I have been lucky enough to have been a part of that process for people. Double major in accounting and finance. Good stuff.
They're supposed to come
Good old
together
West Lafayette.
to help one another.
I miss it, Gizmo.
And if we as a people can't do that,
Assuming they have a release, do you give your own thoughts on the situation treatment? Yeah, if that's what we have the release to be able to talk about, Lollipop. For example, like if I'm seeing a couple and then I have a colleague who's seeing one of the individuals in the couple and they all sign the release, I can converse with them about whatever the client releases me to be able to talk about.
but at least we'll have hope. I'll be waiting, Sam.
Again, Blood Sky, I don't think I can't make a call on that. I mean, it seems like that would be a bad idea, but I'm also not a medical doctor,
Waiting
so
for you.
that would be a question for somebody who works with physiology, which I do not do. Yeah, Valerie, I feel a little bit weird about her too. I can't tell if she's my sister or if she's a younger version of my mother. It's really odd. But I don't feel good about it either. I have had a sense throughout this game that I am not working for the good guys.
Since you're awake, it might behoove you to freshen up.
That lady is Emily, who apparently went all the way west. She's out in California, but she's a younger version of my mother, who was the president who died. It's strange. I haven't really figured out the connection yet. Have a great rest of your day, Bonnie. I'm really glad you were here tonight. I have trust issues, so I would mention stuff that I got insecure about. Then she would bring that up later in our relationship. Well, I dismissed everything that she did. I don't know if it was worth me spending time. Assassin, I think I missed what you said ahead of that, so I'm not entirely sure the context of it. I think she's your sister. That was the vibe I got, Omega. And good guys is a matter of perspective. I agree with that, Dr. Derp. That's all right, Wolfer. There's always a VOD. She got mad at me for that. I stopped talking to her after she started talking about my friend. Oh. I got you, Assassin. I am doing well, Dr. Derp. We celebrated my dad's 65th birthday today, which was awesome. We took him out to dinner. It's a great day. I came home. I had some energy. I wasn't supposed to stream tonight. This is a bonus stream. And then I just so happened to get raided by Sage, which was awesome. And I got raided by Zine. By the way, God, I can't believe I forgot to shout out Zine. I mean, you all know who he is, obviously. But Zine raided me, and it was pretty awesome. It was really, yeah, it's awesome. By the way, again, this is another opportunity for me to say thank you for sticking through the raid, all of you who have stuck through the raid. You certainly didn't have to do that, and you didn't have to show me love, but you did, and you've stuck it through. Do not take that for granted. Thank you. You guys rock. It means a lot to me that you are staying and hanging out.
There was an old research paper detailing the effects of bodily fluids from individuals like us.
You were flustered. I was flustered. Jesus, I mean, the number that was on Coconut Man when he popped up, I was like, are you kidding me?
Not just the Death Stranding, but also the mystery of your body's unique properties and even our doom's affliction. There may well be hope for humanity.
Yeah, no, so Blood Sky, what Victoria said. If I ever say that I can't answer that, it's because I can't. It's not a good idea for me to ever just throw an opinion out on something I have no idea what I'm talking about, or that I'm not qualified to talk about. There's a line that I have to toe because when you all watch me, you all know that I'm a therapist and that I have a PhD. So it gives me some level of credibility. So I have to be very careful about what I throw an opinion out with. So my answer is I'm not qualified, and two, I don't really have an opinion as a result of that. Been here a few times with raids. I always ended up leaving right away because it's just something I do. But someone else I watched talked you up quite a bit, so I stuck around for a raid. Glad I did. Hey, it's all good, Dr. Derp. Believe me, I've been there. I've been in raids where I bailed right away. That's why I appreciate so much when people hang in there through raids, because I know what it's like to want to bail. PhD just means piled higher and deeper. Actually, yeah, that's how it felt a lot of times. Getting it was awful. I'm glad Zine sent us over, but I only stayed up this late to watch the meteor shower, which peaks tonight. So I'm going to go outside and look, then go to bed. Hey, that's awesome, Valerie. Go do it. I appreciate you being here. I hope I get to see you again. I hope I get to see all of you guys again.
Hey.
Shalua, thank you very much for that gifted sub to Dr. Derp. That means a lot to me. And it's also good to see you. This is the first raid I stuck around. Well, thank you, Derp Koala. Also, I love your name. I usually bail, but Zine sold you well. Did he really? Man, what a guy. Johnny, hi. So good to see you. Lots of people here indeed. I got raided by Zine, who was on the front page, Johnny. So a lot of people have stuck around, and there's more awesome people hanging out and added to the community, which I am honored by, and it's awesome. It's good to see you tonight, dude. How you been? How are those peppers? Did you eat through all your peppers yet? You will definitely keep seeing me in here. I'm not talking that much tonight because I'm finding I have a bit of anxiety right now. That's totally okay, Rain. Oh, Dr. Derp, thank you very much for gifting that sub to Weird Sand. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you to do. Thank you for the sub, Derp Koala. It means a lot to me. I'm gonna turn Coconut Man up again now that it's not just a string of craziness. Are we doing the sub thing again? I don't know, Thidian. Are we? I turned most of them into powders and the rest into pepper relish jam for gifting this holiday. Had roughly 40 pounds of peppers. Oh my god, that's so awesome, Johnny. Without porters, the whole system falls apart. See? That's how important my job is in this.
Brother.
Background story for this. I liked her a lot. So I asked her out. She said yes. So I would ask if she wanted to go somewhere and hang out, like a park or the movies. She would never make an attempt to ask her guardian if she could go. I don't know if she even liked me. Okay. Oh, man. Well, that sucks, Assassin, that you had that experience. Read my message. Oh, God. I got to go rinse the color out. I risk allergic reaction. I'll be back if you're still on in about 15 minutes. Okay, Victoria. Thank you for telling me. I'm sorry I missed that message. I'm sorry.
This isn't what we agreed on. You said you'd do everything in your power to save BB.
We are.
Are you serious, Johnny?
Believe me when I tell you.
Oh, God. Oh, God. And it begins.
The man who's done nothing but lie to me.
Thidian and Johnny, thank you for your generosity. 20 gifted subs from Johnny, 10 from Thidian.
Sam, out of
I appreciate that so much.
doing at the moment.
Thidian, by the way, I don't know why it doesn't show up, but in that middle thing that's below the chat, you are the top gifted subber, or the top sub gifter. Just so you know, your name's supposed to be there. Thank you for the subs, guys, and the gifted subs. Those of you who just got subs from Thidian and Johnny, I hope you enjoy them. I appreciate the love. Oh my God.
You're mistaking the BB's memories for your own.
They're doing a good job, Omega.
Nothing more.
I about had a heart attack when
BB is harvested from
Zine
steel
came in.
at around 28 weeks and placed in a pod. To be clear, this is before it's even born.
You guys are
The
ridiculous.
procedure halts its development.
Yes, I have, Titan.
But even at 28 weeks,
It has me and Thiddy and tied, but it got ranked second for some reason. Oh, I see it. I don't know. It's weird because I can't see it. But, I mean, regardless, it doesn't... I mean, who's at the top doesn't matter so much. But seriously, Johnny and Thiddy, and I appreciate the generosity. All of you who've gifted subs, thank you for that.
Someone from the medical team, maybe? Or a BB
Oh, seriously, Josh, that, like, I could not... when I saw the number on Coconut Man, it just... my brain didn't even register it. You deserve all the love. That's very kind of you to say, KWN.
BBs were developed decades ago in secret.
It does matter. Hey, fair enough. Serranos or Poblanos? Oh, I'm all about Serranos, Putt Dog. I wish it weren't almost 2 a.m. on the East Coast since I really enjoy listening to you speak. I've come over with Zine a couple times now. I'm going to head to bed. I'm on in the afternoon on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Poca. So I hope you'll come hang out with me on afternoons sometime, if this is too late for you. But seriously, again, for those of you who don't know my schedule, I stream on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, and then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings. Where does Coconut Man come from? He is my totem. This is Coconut Man. Coconut Man is a totem that I have had ever since I was like 6 years old. I got him in Jamaica. He has lived with me everywhere I've been. He's something of like a security blanket for me. And he became a mascot for the stream when I started streaming. Zine has a moon mote for you in his chat for when you were both saying to go check you out. Are you serious, Wolfer? Holy crap, I didn't realize that. Honey Badger, have a good night. We have the same last block on A day. I just ignore her in there. That's okay. Hey, talk away, Assassin. I'm totally fine with you sharing that. Good night, Thidian. Thank you for the generosity. I appreciate that sub to Jev. 124 gifted subs is insane, dude. Thank you so much. When is your next help finding a therapist stream? I'm new to my area with the ID. I need a new one. So I'm not entirely sure when the next one will be. Ishkan, I may do one this week. I will do it either on Tuesday or Thursday. You can actually sign up for it in my Discord. So if you go to the Discord channel, make sure you read the disclaimers and rules and acknowledge the statement there so you have access to everything. But in the Discord, you can actually sign up for me to do Find Me a Therapist. And you can indicate whether you want it, if you need it like soon, if you need it, like if you need it but you're not urgent, that kind of thing. Or if you want me to help you behind the scenes. I'm willing to help behind the scenes too. Next time I catch it, I'll screenshot it and send it to you on Discord. Cool. I would love to see it, Wolfer. I just saw the game is coming to PC soon. It is. All right. Do I have a... Can you give me... Okay, take on orders. Orders for Sam. Cover chiral printer interface and get chiral crystals. You got it. Can do. Good night, Shalua. I appreciate you stopping by and for gifting that sub. Means a lot to me.
If you don't have it on you, consider fabricating one.
Every guy I've been with has been too reliant on me or extremely physically needy and attached, and I'm more independent. Dating's tough, gamer. It really is. I don't envy anybody who has to date or is dating right now. It sucks. It really does. It's all like, ugh. I don't need to carry so many of these. Go ahead and offload that one. I don't really have much else to say, but previously I liked someone for 8 years. So it broke my heart when she started doing that. I can imagine it did, Assassin. Love seeing you all. Wish I could spend more time here. Johnny, I'm just glad to have you in here when you're in here, man. I appreciate you, dude. Zine pointed me your way when I was talking about trying to find a therapist again. Said you help people with that. Just wanted to say it's cool of you to do. Well, Blue Jays, that's why I do this. When I started streaming, it was not so much about the games I play, though I do love video games. It was more about trying to help people get access to therapy and mental health services and resources and stuff. That's why I do what I do. That's why I do the YouTube that I do. It's to make things accessible. That's what I'm all about. So if I can have, you know, when people like Zine raid me and then I get to meet so many of you, it's awesome because my goal is to get this information out there and be able to assist people and use this platform to do some good. I have to get my daughter to bed, but I found you to be interesting. I'll have to see about coming back another time. Well, I look forward to it, Buki. And good night, Johnny. I'm trying to date. I can't find anyone that isn't creepy or suspicious thus far. Right? It's just how it is right now. Matt, what's up, dude? Chat is moving quick tonight. Well, Matt, there's 267 people currently hanging out here. It's kind of cool. Chiral printer interface. Okay.
Hey, you're gonna love this.
All right, there we go. Strider, thank you very much for that follow. I appreciate it. Let's go get some chiral stuff, huh?
Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey.
I found reconditioned gaming PCs for a reasonable price figure. I can offer you bits when I'm able. I got raided with over 2,000 people one night. Should have seen the chat fly. I can imagine. 2,000 people goes super fast. Watch somebody like Dr. Disrespect with 15,000 people, and you can't even tell what the hell's going on.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
But see, this is why I play games like Death Stranding, because then it's very easy for me to chat with everybody.
Chiral crystals are pretty small and can be difficult to spot with the naked
I will be
eye.
coming back to see you again, but right now I have to get to sleep. I totally understand, Blood Sky.
If you want to survey a
Get
wider
the sleep
area,
that you need to
might
get.
consider building
I appreciate you being here.
relying on its sensors.
Broken Day, thank you very much for the host. Tap to scan.
You've got
All
style,
these
brother.
things. Gizmo, thank you for the sub. Boiler up. Always love having fellow boilers in here. Oh, man.
Okay, just a bit further now.
Man, I don't know. I hate to be annoying with the whole, like, you know, I'm glad you're here thing, but I really am glad that all of you are here, that you're spending some time with me and giving me a chance. Twitch is a finicky place. Oh God, got PTs. Gotta get these chirals. Dating in high school is way harder nowadays. Oh God, yeah. Oh, I don't envy high schoolers, especially. Well, I don't envy people who are in their late 20s, and I don't envy high schoolers right now for dating. I really don't. I buy Purdue chicken. Does that count? Unfortunately, well, it counts if you want it to, Dr. Dirt. But he spells it differently. Just gotta say. I'm in my late 20s. Yeah, there you go, honey. Late 20s is rough. Because it's like one of those things where, so I was actually talking to a friend about this yesterday. Late 20s dating is really hard because usually, I'm not saying this is always the case, but usually at that point, a person has had maybe like one or two somewhat serious relationships that had some longevity under their belt. And so then they go to date, and now they have, like, I mean, I hate to call it baggage, but it's like you have your prior experiences from being in those relationships that you carry in. And it's really hard the way that collides with two people in their late 20s or early 30s. Or if you've never had one at that point, it can be difficult because then you come in with people who maybe have experiences that are not great, and then they're like projecting all of that shit onto you. It can be real tough. It's not always the case, but it was an interesting conversation we had the other day about that. It's just the way that social media and like access to people and unrealistic expectations and stuff, it just makes dating a bitch right now. I was single for 3 years after I broke up with my son's dad. Been with my current boyfriend 2 years, but seriously, the weird I had to wade through, right? Pythos! Yo, Pythos, how have you been? It's so good to see you.
The process is pretty simple, though. Access the delivery.
Did you see that DePaul won the Manon Bell back this weekend? I did not. How do you get over those past bad experiences? To recognize them for what they are, Kook. and to recognize that though you can't change the past, you can certainly use what you learned from the past to inform what you do now and in the future. And I know that's kind of like it sounds like a canned answer, but truly that's what it is. It can be really freeing to realize that. And Trina, I totally hear you on that. Time to take care of you. Make sure you're in a good space. I'm right with you on that. It's kind of, it's fascinating, Honey Badger. We can get into some brutal self-fulfilling prophecies with that kind of thing. Talking to people without a screen between you is difficult. Yeah, right? I hear that. I guess you don't know about the rivalry with Wabash and DePaul. I am aware of the rivalry, sort of, but I didn't know about, like, whatever the trophy is between them. I'm from Indiana, lunatic. I should go to bed. Hey, do what you got to do, Dirt. I'm all for self-care and taking care of yourself. If that means needing to go to bed, I'm with you. I totally understand. Good night, Warped. Appreciate you being here tonight. I can't suggest that. I'm going to try to get a proper night's sleep. Do what you got to do, Shy Red. I can actually feel I can feel the wall. It's on its way. I'm in Fort Wayne right now. Good old Fort Wayne. I have actually only ever been to Fort Wayne one time. I'm from Valparaiso. That was where I was raised and went to high school. Been okay. Was on vacation the other end of October. My dad, aunt, and uncle brought me out to Colorado to convince me to move out there. Less convincing and more finance issues, but knowing there's a way out of the dead end here in Alaska is nice. Yo, I didn't realize you're in Alaska, Pythos. Are you going to make the move? Oh, man. So I went to Alaska once when I was 15, and I loved it. I couldn't live there, but it was awesome. What are the pros and cons of online dating? The pros are that you can filter people out pretty quickly, and when you do meet up with that person, you already know that they find you attractive. That's one pro. It's also like a good way to be able to engage with somebody if you have social anxiety, so that you have some familiarity when you actually meet them in person. If that's what you're referring to, Titan. I have to go now. It was nice coming here with the raid. Well, Deezen, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate that you stayed through it and that you hung out. You guys are awesome. I'll be well rewarded. Okay.
If you come into more chiral crystals, you can submit them at one of our facilities.
Yes, though my dad wants me to move down by December 15th. Oh my God, that's soon. That's a huge move. My God, Alaska to Colorado. Whew.